Today I'm going to explain one of my financial news agent which I have developed to illustrate model context protocol and agent development and communication through A2A protocol. These are all the three concepts which I will be explaining in this particular tutorial. In order to do the same, you have to download this particular repository or clone it with the help of GitHub. For that, you just need to copy this particular link and you should give git clone and paste this particular link, and then you should go to this particular current agency agent project. And later I have two branches, one is main and the other is feature financial news agent. You come to this particular website and copy this, or just copy this name and go to your uh, shell and change it to the branch git checkout -b, that is -b, and paste the branch name to go to this particular branch, or you execute git fetch and come to this branch to follow this particular demo. Here I have illustrated a technical demo over here how you can run this particular app. This is the app which we have ran in Google Cloud platform, and I will be illustrating here. Like today what we are going to do, today I will be illustrating the code which is there and also how to run this code in Google Cloud Run, that is GCP, and how we can test the agent and what are all the different parts in the code and how it's going to work. I will be illustrating these things, and our main focus is on Google Cloud Platform and the Vertex AI model context protocol, agent orchestration and creation of agent, and working with agent and MCP, and to know more about A2A protocol. Okay, now in order to run this particular app, you need to go to Google Cloud, which you can see over here. First, you should go to Google Cloud. If you don't have a Google account, you create it and create a Google Cloud Platform account. You will be getting 300 free credits, and then you click on this particular open project, and here you click on new project and create a project with any name. I have created a project with name ADK MCP A2A, and with that you create the project and make sure you enable the compute services. I have illustrated in the readme file what are all the services which we require, and after you do that, either you can follow the demo in your Visual Studio Code environment in your local editor, or you can open the editor, that is Google Cloud Shell. Just by clicking this, you will be getting a Google Cloud Shell, and here you can perform these particular actions. That is, you need to do gcloud auth list, and you need to give the command gcloud config list project after creation of project, and then later here you need to set a environmental variable which might be helpful for us for configuring the project or working with a code editor. So we will be giving this particular command export project and your project ID, and what is your project ID is this particular name which you can see over here. For that, for example, I am going to show you how we can do that. you can see over here, this is the project which we have, and this is the project ID which you will be getting, that you will be getting after you create the project. And then you just need to export it and config the project ID. That is project ID, the thing which we have stored will be stored in the Google shell variable of that is followed by dollar symbol, that is project ID. And later, for this project, in order to work in Google GCP, we need these particular services, that is Cloud Resource Manager, Service Networking, Google Maps API, and Cloud Build, since we are deploying this on Cloud Run, and compute services. We require these things. We can enable it by just copying this particular command and go to the console, that is the shell, and paste it. That's it. And later all these services will be enabled. In order to make sure this works, uh, you make sure you have enabled your billing account, and after following this project you delete the resources just by going into this IAM admin and then manage resources. Here you will find the project, you select that and click on delete. That's it, because we don't want to make sure that we are paying the money for it. That's it. And later, uh, in the cloud shell, the environment where you have went, you go to the current directory. You, after cloning the project, here you need to clone the project. After I have done the cloning project, that is, you just need to do git clone and give the command which you give the GitHub repo link, and you should go to that particular project, which I have already done. So I will be going into the code editor to show you the code representation. I have already cloned it, and inside this I have the project which you can see over here. And in order to run this project, we need to make sure that we are having Python 3 plus version. To check, we can give, that is, we have Python 3.12.3. you just need to follow this particular prompts. With that you can easily deploy the project which you have done. Okay, and then later you just need to set up an environmental variable in your project. So you just need to make sure you set up Google GenAI use Vertex AI to true, and Google Cloud location I have used as US Central one, and Google Cloud project, that is I have given as Google, and the project ID which we have exported, and I have stored it in environmental variable, that is .env file. And later in this particular project I have make use of a currency converter API, that is the Frankfurter.dev, which you can see over here, and I have utilized in the application over here to get the exact details about the currency conversion rate, where I can get the currency conversion rate from US to dollars, US dollars to euros, or US dollars to INR. I will show you how it is useful. We are using that for MCP protocol, and also I have stored the API key in the .env file. You can also do that. For this one we don't require API key. We have one more API where I have created an API called for news, to get the most updated news, that is from news.data.io. I have created a API and I have stored the API key in the .env file, which you can do it just like following this particular command. Here I haven't included, I will be updating it to the thing in the readme file. That's it. This is the initial code setup, and next what you need to do is I will be explaining you through the two different directories. One is the development of MCP server and deployment, and another is running the Google Agent Development Kit ADK and running it with the inbuilt ADK web. And you can clone this particular project, and to run this we need to make sure that we have UV installed, that is UVcon, to run the project. That's it. Let's go ahead and I will be explaining the MCP side of the project. For this I have make use of fast API MCP of MCP library, and here this is the place. What is MCP? Before that I need to tell you, MCP is used for either accessing the tools or fetching the data, and it will be useful in agent development, and MCP will be making use of just a single agent. Okay, and here I'm configuring the tool, and I have created a function which will take the USD conversion, that is the USD to EUR, and the currency date, when in which date I want the US dollars conversion or anything. This can be you can say we can change this in future based on the Google's our input. This particular MCP will be executed and we'll be getting the results. Here you can see this is the arguments which we will be configuring, and this is the return variable. We'll be getting the exchange rate. If we have error message, we'll be getting the error message. And here I am calling the get request with the help of Frankfurter API, and I will be getting the currency, and if there is any failure I'm logging those failures. And additionally I have you make use of another tool, set up another tool with the help of function get general financial news. Here I have make use of news data API, and API key will be stored in .env file, and here I will be getting the latest news about any currencies, and I will be getting the complete information, and I will be storing that to make sure my MCP server works fine. And to get the details, I will be showing you how we can run the MCP. So here I'm already in the currency agent. After we go over there, we need to make sure we need to go and run the MCP server with the help of UV, that is UV run MCP server / server.py. After we execute that, you can see the particular file, that is server.py. We are running this one, so I'm going to run this to make sure my MCP server is up. Currently you can see my MCP server is up at 8080 port and it's running. In order to test this, I will be running the test server.py, where this will check whether our MCP is working fine, which you can see over here. By calling this, it will just check whether these particular APIs are hitting fine. We are making use of 8080 port since we have deployed the MCP server over there. And here we can see it's working perfectly fine. And next, since what it is doing is, which you can see over here, it is just checking the conversion rate USD to EUR, that is euros, and it is checking whether we are getting the news. And if we go over here, we can see there is a API hit over here, and we have got the response. We have got this particular response, and that's it. Two APIs are working fine. Here also we can see the Frankfurter API is working fine, and we are getting the results as expected. €1 is 0.866693. That's it. And next, this is about the MCP development, and next we need to make sure that I will be going through the agent development. how it is done in Google GCP. Here you can see I have created a agent. These are all the .NET different libraries which we have make use of over here. That is, we are trying to explore A2A protocol. What is A2A protocol? That is nothing but agent to agent protocol. Usually when we use the ChatGPT, it's a monolithic, that is only based on the data which they have trained in the OpenAI or the different providers, service providers such as OpenAI, Gemini or Claude, that is Anthropic. We will be getting the result in the form of a description, and we are not using any tools over there. But here what you can see, we have functions, that is we will be creating the agent and we will be giving that with a model uh, to analyze the data. And also these agents can call the real APIs, which you can see over here. We have created a MCP, which you can see, which I have explained, and we will be configuring that. It will be analyzing the current trends. It will make sure the analyst agent will be hitting the API, and it will be uh, going to get the proper exchange rate by making use of get exchange rate function in the MCP, and it will be getting the result, and from that it's going to analyze. And similarly we have another agent called news agent, and here it will be getting the information by with the help of tool called get general financial news. And based on that, there is a root agent which I have created. After getting the two results from the two agent, the root agent will coordinate with those two over here, as you can see, and it based on this instruction it will analyze, it will give the proper result to us. And here in this project, um, this is called as A2A app, and here these are all nothing but cards which you can see over here. Currently I have tried to explain in a simple way. For example, this is not only with respect to GCP, that is Google Cloud Platform. For example, if there is some another user who has created an agent similar to this one, for example booking flights. For booking flights, what you need to do, you will be search for itinerary, which place you need to go, and then you need to look for an aeroplane. Suppose I will be checking, I want to go to Chandigarh, and I will be looking for the best flights. For that I can get an agent to get the best flight, and after getting that, there is a service provider from Qatar or Southwest Airlines or American Airlines. From that, suppose if they have an agent, it will take that particular result for that particular location and will be giving the information from that agent to the another one. For example, there is an agent which is provided by Qatar to book the ticket. Then it will be making use of these particular route APIs. Means they have already, if they have already deployed this particular agent, we will be just using the link to call that particular agent to book the flight. That's it. Similar to that, here we have created agent, we haven't deployed. I will be showing you. If you want, you can deploy, and later you can make use of the deployed agent. You can call the external agent to get the result. And here I have done only taken the result from two agents, and I am giving the grounding answer. And in future I will be deploying this in the Google Cloud Run, and I will be showing how we can consume that in another service. And also, one agent's code cannot be seen by other. That is one of the biggest advantage, and that will increase the more, that will give the more accuracy, since we'll be making use of MCP also over here. If you don't want, we don't have to make use of MCP. We just go with just this particular agent cards. And now I'm going to show you how I can, we need to make sure the MCP is already running, and here we have tested it, and we need to make sure we run the app. For that I will be making use of UV, that is UVCon, and I will be giving UV run ADK web. ADK web is already configured in the application. uh, this is from the Google agent development kit. and we will be making sure these packages are installed, that is A2A SDK, FastMCP, Google ADK, and Google AI, and python.env. That is python.env is used for reading the environmental variables. And now I will be running the agent development kit, and that will be make sure it runs this particular agent. If we want, we can test this agent, but since it's already running, we don't have to worry. And here we can see this particular agent got deployed in this particular it's running in this port. So in order to view that, we will go to web preview. We should go to web preview, and we should make sure that we change the port to 8000 since it's running in 8000, and we should open the particular agent development kit. Now the agent which we have developed is a currency agent. I have taken that, and now I'm going to give what is the one what is 1 USD in Indian rupees. Now it's going to call the agent, as I have explained before to the code. It's going to call the news analyst and the rate analyst, and from that it's going to call the MCP, and we are going to get the actual result. In order to check whether it's running properly, we can come here and we can check. You can see over here it has called the MCP and it has got the result, and which you can see over here, that is 95.21 Indian rupees. And we can also give what is the 1 US 1000 USD in Chinese currency. Good time to exchange. Now it will be calling the currency agent in the MCP, and also through the rate agent it will be calling the currency agent, and with the help of news agent it will be analyzing the news. You can see over here 1000 USD is equal to 6747 Chinese yuan. And then I have, with the help of proxy, I have redirected the already deployed app from this particular URL to the local host, and I'm testing it with the help of command, and I could able to see it's working. And then later I will be running uv run ADK web, and now I can see it's running in port 8000, and I will be previewing it on port 8000, and I'll be choosing the agent. What is on USD in our convert? I'll be giving this. With the help of this one, what it's going to do is it will be calling the rate analyst and the news analyst agent. From the rate analyst it will call the MCP server, and it will give the complete breakdown, which you can see over here. Based on the conversion rate, it has converted the amount into INR, that is 100,000 USD is equivalent to 95 lakh, and it has given the potential, the news with respect to INR and rupees. And since it can't provide the actual investment advice, it is given with the news, and based on this we can take a call. And that's it. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel. Please share and subscribe, and make sure you star my GitHub repo, which I will be adding it over to the description of the YouTube link. And please follow me on LinkedIn, and if you have any questions you can text me over a mail. I will be trying to replying that. Thank you.